Okay, three force multipliers, tips to monetize your message while also serving people at a higher level. So, in terms of modules that relate to making money, we've dialogued before, and I would encourage you to go watch or listen to the module on how to monetize your framework. That's really the ABCD, how to get paid for what you know, ABCD framework. I would encourage you to go look at how to build a business plan. I would encourage you to look at practical tips to increase revenue. So the way that those fit together, the ABCD, how to get paid for what you know framework, that is kind of the core. That is the crux of what we're talking about. You got to have that really in place before you do all this other stuff. And then when you do that, the next thing you want to do is build out the business plan. So you want to watch that module. And then you want to move into, okay, getting everything in place, setting up the systems. I got it. Go to the practical tips to increase the business revenue. That really kind of gives you maybe more stuff. It's kind of the part two. It fits on the side of that business plan. And then we want to kind of loop back to this and remind you, okay, it's not just about the plan. We're going to give you some force multipliers that are going to help you multiply this and really boost, give it some rocket fuel to serve people at a higher level. So the outline of this training module is super simple. There are three parts to it. Each part has 3 points. So 9 total points that we're going to walk through right here. The outline of this module is we're going to go through 3 factors which affect your capacity to grow. We're going to dialogue about 3 different strategies that you can tackle, and you'll decide where to start. And then we are going to highlight 3 different categories, 3 types of offers that you can make. And my suggestion is really you just go ahead and make them all and then see what happens. And when people take action on one, man, that might shift you and what you do in a certain way. It might shift your income strategy. It might help you refine that business plan. And so all 3 of these different elements, the 3 factors, the 3 strategies, 3 categories, and they'll all make more sense as we get going. So let's just start rocking, okay? Part 1 of this module, 3 factors which affect your capacity to grow are these, and these are all required. 3 required factors. You've got to serve people, you need systems in place, and you need a strong element of scalability. Serve, systems, and scalability. Let me tell you what those mean. Serve. It is your capacity to add value to the people who encounter your products and programs. If you are not delivering results, if you are not helping them move through your framework from where they are to where they are dreaming of being, designed to be, destined to be, even doing the work to be, if you're not serving them in that and adding value, it's just not going to last that long. And so, factor number 1, you've got to serve. Got to serve. And it's just straight Bible. I mean, that's red letter. Okay, going to do this thing and be great. Got to serve. There is a module that I mentioned earlier, and I'm just going to refer you back to it. This was kind of the part 2 of building out a business plan, practical tips to increase business revenue. In that, kind of outline again, everybody's always concerned about revenue, and I get it. I'm concerned about revenue, but we really highlight, okay, revenue is the overflow. It's the byproduct of all this other stuff that's going on, including serving. Okay, so factor number 1, serve. Factor number 2, required factor, systems. What systems are, I believe, and the way I'm defining them here in this module is systems are your capacity to continue serving people without being in the room with those people. Now, it is super easy for you as a thought leader to serve somebody when they're sitting in your office. It's easy to serve them when you get on the phone with them. That's kind of a virtual room, telephone. It's easy to serve them when you are on Zoom. That's kind of a virtual room as well. When you are in person, however, in order to grow, because this stuff is all about growing, force multipliers, you need some good systems in place that are going to offer them clear next steps, to where what are you going to do with those next steps? You're going to serve them at a higher level, and they need to be connected by automated processes. Now, every time I talk about automation, somebody inevitably, if we're in a group, says, oh, the technology. Here's what I would say is the technology has never been easier ever before than it is right now. I mean, you are getting into this at the absolute best time. It's literally all plug and play at this point. So what you really get to focus on is strategy. And we're showing you strategy. So you can just kind of implement what you're learning here and amplify. And you need to work on your message. You can focus on those two things, your message and the strategy. And again, we're teaching you the strategy. What we can't do, we can help you dial in the message. We can't create that core message for you, though. And so really the burden on you is not the systems. The systems work. You've just got to implement those systems based on some of the things that we're teaching you. You need to get the right tech stack, all of that. The technology has never been cheaper financially than it is right now. I mean, right now I'm paying probably realistically about 20%, 15% of what I was having to pay when we first started doing this, a decade ago. And we're doing way more stuff. And the technology is way better, and it's just a fraction of the price. And so systems and automation are necessary because they're going to help you serve people without being in the room. And that's going to be necessary if you're going to grow. So to be clear, I just put this, if you look into the modules here, the latest 9 or so, all the notes that I've kind of put like, it's a footnote, but it's not really a footnote because you got it on, a slide. But if it was a book, it'd be a footnote. To be clear, you're serving people, but you need processes that help them understand what to do next and processes that lead them there and point them forward. So how do you do that? You do that with automated email. You do that with automated text, possibly. You do that even with automating an email to you to tell you, hey, call this person. And you can implement all of that super duper easy. Okay, the 3 factors: serve, systems, and scalability. Let's talk about scalability. Scalability is your capacity to keep those systems running at an increasingly high level while also maintaining the ability to serve the next person who walks into the virtual space at the same level as the first person, even when you're not in the room with them. Okay, so logically, just think through what was going on right there. You have customer number 1 and they get an amazing experience. Customer number 5 gets an incredible interaction with you. Customer number 10, number 20, number 30. What about customer number 1,000? Is your ability to serve and your ability to run the systems that you're running through the tech stack and all of that goes with it, is it such that it scales, it can grow exponentially and keep working such that customer number 1,000 gets the same experience as customer number 1? Okay, that's really what we're looking for. And I get it, like we're not talking about customer number 1,000. I mean, if they're a coaching client, they're getting access to you because you're going to meet with them. Like there's going to be that face-to-face encounter and all of that kind of stuff that's going on. So that makes sense, right? That totally makes sense. All right, so what we're talking about here is the customers who are buying primarily not the resources where they get direct access to you, coaching programs. We're talking about the customers who don't get direct access to you. Or they might get access because they attend a live event, conference, a workshop, something of that nature. But primarily, they're buying books, they're buying courses, they're buying digital assets, they're buying some of those abilities or some of those capacities that you have through products and programs that you can deliver on autopilot. They're buying the things that enable you to scale. Can those people that come in late in the game, the people that come in tomorrow, can they get the same experience that people that came in 3 years ago got? All right, that's it. Now, if you cannot scale, here's what you will do. You will trade dollars for hours, thereby limiting your income. If you cannot scale, you will find yourself tied to a specific location, thereby limiting geographical movement and or travel. Okay, that goes back to the dollars for hours. Like you got to be in the office. Even if the office is at home, like you got to be right there and you got to be working. You will be forced, if you can't scale, to do everything in person. And so when we start talking about three force multipliers and we outline three factors, okay, these are three required factors which affect your capacity to grow: serving, systems, and you've got to have the scalability. Okay, pro tip. And then we'll move to part two. Offers that you have, such as books and courses, they can help you scale, especially when they deliver automatically without shipping and they have a clear automated next steps for your audience. Now, if you got to ship that stuff, you got to go ship it, but you can hire it out, or you can have a system in place whereby you do touch it, you do ship it. But I wouldn't be printing out labels. I wouldn't be right now, handwriting all the labels. I would have something like a ShipStation webhook, Webstack, all of that kind of stuff. We use that stuff all the time. I wouldn't be driving to the post office. At our house, we ship stuff out almost every day. And so we got this really big mailbox, and Beth just, packages it, walks it, puts it out there, and boom, hits up the flag. The mailman just knows, comes and gets it. Now, if we have an extra overdosed size load, we might drive it down to the local place right down the street. But you really, books, courses, especially ebooks, digital assets, those can help you scale when you have them set in place automatically. So don't be afraid of the digital assets. And they can help you scale too when you have automated next best steps for your audience. So they buy something, don't just kind of leave them, like send them a follow-up email sequence. Hey, I'm glad you bought this. Thank you. Send them value, 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 value. And after some time, send them to the next best step. Don't be afraid to give them another offer. And you can do that. There's some training we have that'll help you do that in a non-salesy, non-pushy way. Okay, so you decide, I'm in. I want to do this. Where do you start? Where do you start with the, let's just call it the force multiplication? Where do you begin? Here are three strategies, three places to begin. Number one, leads. Number two, low-hanging fruit. Number three, long-term. You might even just call it long-term stuff. Okay, we'll define it in just a second. Let's walk through these just like we did through the three required factors. Number one, the leads. I really encourage you to use the four-step process that we highlight to build an online audience. There is a module that you have access to. In fact, I'm going to show it to you on the screen right now. 4 pillars of building an online audience. It is available in Amplify Pro. So if you're a member of Amplify Pro, you're watching Amplify Pro right now, or you've accessed this through the framework of how to get paid for what you know, you got access to it. So 4 pillars of building an online audience are going to generate leads for you. Here's the note. You need to make sure that you have opt-ins that lead people to a value-driven email sequence, and from those value-driven email sequences to offers. You got to have that. If you don't have opt-ins and you don't have opt-ins that lead to offers, you're not going to increase your revenue. It is, I wrote the word astounding. I almost said shocking how many people want more business and want to generate revenue, but they don't have a clear process in play and they don't have calendar time to generate those leads. Now, those leads don't have to be you talking in person. Those leads don't have to be you calling people on the phone. Those leads don't have to be you at networking events. Those leads don't have to be strategy calls or discovery calls or non-sales calls or whatever you call them in your space. Although I think that some of those things are extremely helpful, you got to have a process in place and calendar time to generate leads. If you've watched some of the other training, we talk a lot about the lead measures. Generating leads is one of the lead measures that is going to result in growth and revenue. And now just for maybe review, if you've seen this in other modules, part of the strategy that we teach about growing your online audience is building your home base, build your house. That's actually step number 2 in how to get paid for what you know. Now step number 1, A, It's A, B, C, D. A is architect and articulate your framework. And then you get that and you put it on your website. You build your house, you build your home base. And on that website, in that training, we say, hey, you need a visitor info. You got to have an opt-in where you give them free value. And then we talk about the importance. C in the ABCD framework, C is communicating regularly. So that's on the screen here. And then you give them a reason to keep coming back and to hang out, to see what you have. And at some point, they take action and you deliver results to them with your products and programs. That is all part of that strategy. Okay, so you got to work the leads. I think that you should dedicate about 20% of your time to nurturing new leads. So that's 20% of your time going to networking events, 20% of your time strategy, sales calls, 20% of your time following up with people who've already reached out to you, 20% of your time figuring out, the email sequences to follow up with those people, 20% of, like, all of that should be in that 20%. So I'm not saying 20% of your time doing each one of these, I'm saying 20% should account for all of that. Like throw that in there, make sure you calendar it. So if you're looking at it, you go, well, that's 1 day out of every 5 days. Yeah, that's right. But you kind of break it up and then you just kind of stretch it out, do it over time, a little bit here, a little bit. 20% could be certain follow-up on certain social media. Now, social media, you can waste a lot of time on it, but if you do it right, it can be also very good. 20% of your time leads. A note. If you have a local meetup opportunity, take advantage of it. Now, and then don't go to every single one of them. Just like pick one and do it really well. But when you talk to people right here on the screen, say, be sure to lead with the problem you solve and the potential you lead people to, not with your name, not with your phone number, not with your title, not with the company you work for. Just lead with, hey, what do you do? Not, oh, yeah, my name's Andy Jenkins, and I, work at this organization with my wife, Amplify. No, don't lead with that. People don't remember that. Our mind is geared towards survival and to getting the needs that we have met. And so when you lead with something like, yeah, my name's Andy, man, I have a great job. What we do is, well, people that have these ideas that they want to share in terms of a book or a course, like they've got this expertise and they really think that it would make a major impact if other people knew how to really access that information, but they're just not sure. How do you platform it? How do you get it out there? And how do you get it out there in such a way that people can pay you for that expertise? Well, we help people platform their expertise, whether it's in a book or a course or a coaching program, or even a accreditation process, or certification, any of that, whether it's a nonprofit or a church or a business leader, thought leader. We help them platform that so that they can monetize that expertise, get paid for what they know, and have more time to serve people at an even greater level. Okay, so when we say something like that, and you just kind of get to where you can say it in different ways. You get to where it just sounds natural. It's not it's not salesy. It's just, hey man, what do you do? Well, that's what we do. So we pitch it in terms of problem and potential when you meet leads, not meeting leads and go, here's my name and here's my number and here's my email address. It's no. You're leading with something completely different. People remember solutions they need more so than just names and numbers. I mean, think about it. The last person you met at a networking event, do you remember their name? Probably not. You probably forgot it as soon as you're talking to the next person. But if somebody had said, man, if you had a hole in the side of your house and all of a sudden, like, you get all these names, somebody walks up to you and goes, man, hey, yeah, we fix holes in the side of houses. You would remember that guy, even if you didn't need it right now. 6 months from now, a year from now, you get a hole in the side of your house, you're going to call the guy who fixes holes in the side of people's houses. That's just how our minds work. So make sure the problem and the potential. You don't have to outline the path on your business card. If you got a brochure, you might want to outline some of that, but make sure the problem and the potential is on your business card. Make sure that it is on any brochure. make sure that that business card has a clear next step that captures their contact info and puts them in a non-salesy email sequence. So I'm gonna grab my business card. I made one. I did not have a business card for a while. And finally, I was at enough events where people were giving me their cards, just like we're talking casually. Like, what do? Yeah, you tell, and then they're just kind of swapping cards and all that. And so I actually got a business card, and on the front, I put amplify, platform your message, get paid for what you know. On the back, here's my name, no title, phone number, email, website, QR code, and right under the QR code, it says, and it goes to the an About Us page. That sometimes I have is the actual About Us page. Sometimes it's kind of buried somewhere, but it is an About Us page. So watch the training and the module on what goes on the About Us page. It is the most trafficked page on your site. So I want to send them where they would be going anyway. And it just says, hey, go here, scan this to see the 4-step process to get paid for your expertise and multiply your impact. That's it. Okay. That's the card. And there is on that page a way to capture the lead. If they want to take action, they can take action right there. They can even pay for something right there. But it's all non-salesy.